Welcome to Luton Airport, where I'm going to be starting from here on a big trip for the next 2 weeks. Flying from here to Istanbul, but I'm not staying in Istanbul. I'm actually going on from Istanbul to Tashkent, and then from Tashkent to a place called Dushanbe, which is the capital of Tajikistan. I'm going to be doing a quick 2-week trip around Central Asia to Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan and Kazakhstan. So I've already checked in, so I'm just going to drop my bag off and then I'm going to get airside.
I wonder if whoever's on 11A on this flight will get next.
So I'm in a quiet part of the airport, away from all the crowds, near some of the gates. Hopefully this will be the gates I have to go to get my flight. So the question is, why am I choosing Central Asia? Well, why not? Apart from horrific places, war zones, I'm kind of up for going to any location. Central Asia has some interesting places, although I'm not trying to go into the most interesting ones. Most interesting ones would be Uzbekistan, which has places like Samarkand and Bukhara, and then there's Turkmenistan, which is a country kind of a bit like Turkmenistan, North Korea, in terms of its weirdness. The three countries I'm going are a little bit tame. But in terms of this year, it was literally just a case of picking a location. I considered North Africa, but at this time of year, that's probably going to be unbearably hot, although where I'm going is going to be in the high 30s, pushing 40 degrees apparently. I also considered South America, but it was literally just a toss-up about which one to go to. Sorry, some little kid looking at what this weird guy talking to his camera. Yeah, so it's literally just a case of pick a region to go to that I haven't been to yet.
EasyJet departure to Mahon.
So I haven't really planned it.
EasyJet departure to Dalaman.
So I haven't planned this trip in detail.
EasyJet departure to.
So I haven't planned this trip out in massive detail. I looked through the brand guidebooks. I've got a general idea of the things I want to see, but it's going to be the usual sightseeing around the city, visiting museums, galleries. I think in Dushanbe there's a museum of musical instruments. There's another one in, I believe it's Almaty, Kazakhstan. I'll have to look that up. But yeah, try and find some quirky little museums as well as the usual National Gallery, National Museum, that sort of thing. Trying out some of the local food. That's another big thing for me. And just generally seeing what the city's like, what the country's like. It's not a place that people visit a lot. Well, a lot of people ever really visit from the UK. So it's going to be a different one. I'm actually flying, so as I said before, I'm actually flying to Istanbul first on Wizz Air. The only thing is, it's going to be a self-transfer. I've got about a 2-hour window, so hopefully there's not going to be too many delays. Just means I have to get my bag, go out, and then go back in. But I've already checked in to the Uzbekistan Airlines flight from Istanbul to Tashkent, and that is a standard transfer. So as I was saying, from Istanbul, it's all the way through. I get Latin Tashkent, and then from Tashkent to Dushanbe. I'm checked it through there, so as soon as I transfer from Tashkent. So because of my short window and because I have to do a self-transfer, I decided to get myself a full English breakfast here for lunch. That should time me over, as I probably might not have enough time in Istanbul to get anything to eat. So probably about another half hour till my flight gets called, and then I'll be up in the air on Wizz Air and heading off to Istanbul. It's a 4-hour flight, so not too long, not too short. Looking forward to it.
Once again, we would request you to have a look at the safety instruction card, as it contains a lot of safety information, and in case of emergency evacuation, you need
So I'm here in Istanbul airport and it's pretty magnificent. I've only been a couple of times, so I'm not very familiar with the airport. The self-transfer was actually pretty straightforward, although I was a little bit stressed about the whole process. Never actually done an international self-transfer before, but it was fine. The flight was actually half an hour early, so spot on, but still only got half an hour till boarding, so I can't really hang about. So I'm glad I actually got that full English breakfast at Luton. So I'm just going to go through security now, get airside, might get a quick coffee or something like that, and then I'll be off to Tashkent, arriving at about 4 in the morning, I think. This is my seat on Uzbek Airways. As you can see, it's a pretty standard seat for a long haul flight. I'm 6'2", so leg room is always a problem. I did have my rucksack underneath the front seat as well. Here we have some little bit of, not quite amenity gear, just a pair of slippers, very comfortable. I kept them for the whole trip. And the usual Uzbek Airways magazine. Entertainment system was okay. Selection of films wasn't that great. It was really for the local market rather than for international passengers. So there was no real British or American films available. Music selection was a little bit better, but for me it wasn't that important either because I had my MP3 player anyway. One of the best airline meals I've ever had. There's cold meats and cheeses, some butter to go with the bread roll, a little bit of a side salad, a nice roll as well there, and some dessert. But the pièce de résistance was the meat, a beef stew with sliced fried potatoes and peppers. This was so tasty. It's one of the best meals I've ever had on a plane. Close to the Qatar Airways curry and goulash I had a couple of times way back in 2007. This was so tasty and so much better than I thought it would be. So I am currently in Tashkent Airport in Uzbekistan. Got a couple of hours ago. It's what time is it? I forgot to check the time actually. It's just come to 6 a.m. Local time, which is 2 a.m. UK. Uzbekistan Airways flight was fine. It's pretty efficient. The food was actually pretty good. The entertainment system left a lot to be desired. I think it was mainly for the local population anyway. So got a couple of hours until my flight to Dushanbe leaves, which is only a 1 hour flight. I'm having a bit of issue with Wi-Fi at the moment. I didn't get roaming sorted or any of these packages, and because I was going to use the Wi-Fi at the airports until I got to hostel. The thing is, all of these Wi-Fi setups here seem to want you to type in your phone number and then send you a text message. Well, when I was in Istanbul, it wouldn't accept my number for some reason. Here in Uzbekistan, there's a couple of Wi-Fi similar to there's one, which is the airport Wi-Fi. Apparently there's a scanner somewhere. You can scan your passport and you get some sort of code and you can connect to the airport Wi-Fi. Well, I haven't seen these scanners anywhere, so I don't know what that's all about. But anyway, there is another free Wi-Fi that's available, which I'm using, and it seems to be very slow, but it's just about working. The only thing, WhatsApp doesn't seem to work on it, or that may be an Uzbekistan thing. I don't know if it's been banned over here, so yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so I am just waiting for my flight. The only thing I also got to worry about when I get to Dushanbe is transportation into the city to my hostel and currency. It's Sunday, so it's not the best time. We don't get Tajik currency in the UK. It's not on Revolut either. So yeah, we'll see. I've already made some card purchases on both my bank card and my Revolut card. So it's not not the best way of doing it, especially when you haven't chance to change the currency. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. As long as I can get into the city, that's fine. I'm sure if there's nothing open today, then it's open tomorrow. I've got my cash with me, so yeah, we'll see what happens. At the moment, taking it easy. In about an hour's time, the gate will be announced and the boarding will be ready, and I'll be on the 1 hour flight from Tashkent to Dushanbe. People come to Tajikistan. And my hostel, it's in quite a rundown older district, but it's actually quite safe. It's a lot safer than it looks, just a little bit dirty and run down, and it needed a bit of development. And so going in through the massive iron doors, which aren't locked, so there's no key entry of any kind, going to this massive courtyard, which is also an outdoor kitchen. It has quite a big shading over the top, so you are protected from the burning sunlight, but it's still hot even with that kind of shading. This is a Muslim country, so they do have the tradition of taking your shoes off before you go inside. As you can see, there's plenty of storage space for shoes, and your shoes are safe. I never had any issues with them. No one steals them. Everything's perfectly fine. Going inside this reception area, it looks a bit dated, but it's still really clean, really smart. It's got a bit of character actually, kind of old school feel to it, and nice carpet on the ground as you would expect from this region. Couple of tables for dining, some water tanks for safe drinking water, and then there's the kitchen. It's very small, probably looks nicer on here than it did when I was actually there, but it's actually still clean, modern-ish. Probably could do with a little bit of fixing up. It's got everything you need. It's got the stove, it's got a fridge, freezer, there's even a washing machine for laundry, and a sink for the washing up. But there's no oven. But then again, you probably wouldn't need an oven. There is a microwave, obviously, and some various little bits, ingredients, condiments to use. Then going to my room, some more shoe storage outside. And then we're inside. So there's 4 bunks, 8 beds. I originally picked the one on the left, but then I switched over to the one on the right because there's actually more electrical points available. There's a big mattress, nice and wide, nice and long enough for me. Was a bit thin, so you could actually feel the planks underneath, but it's still good. And they've provided some little amenities: toothbrush, some soap, some shampoo, a towel. It was all free. Didn't have to pay extra for it. Let's just say electrical points for charging, a wardrobe at the end of the room, and an absolutely lovely carpet. I mean, this is the kind of carpet you can expect in your average Weatherspoons, but this is absolutely sort of top quality. Then at the end we have another refrigerator. No one's really using it much, but again, if you've got any little snacks or cold drinks, soft drinks, that kind of thing, then it's there for you. And a small desk with a chair, although that has tended to be used for storage space. Bunk beds themselves, okay, you've got flat stairs, and the steps are a bit, not great, sharp edges, thin, so not so great on your soles of your feet, but they are absolutely rock solid. There's literally no wobble at all, so these are 100% safe. Good quality wood, good quality fitting. And it's a nice spacious size. The bathroom, this was absolutely lovely, really good quality, kind of marble effect, nice big size for the shower, and none of these complicated shower taps that you sometimes get. Storage space for your toiletries. And a hairdryer, which is a nice pleasant addition if you really needed it. Toilet paper, kind of like the stuff you get at school, but it was still effective, it was still fine, nothing to worry about. So far so good. I'm here in my hostel, everything's fine, everything's gone pretty smoothly. I was a bit ripped off by a taxi driver. I made the mistake of just going with the first guy who came up to me. Always a bad mistake. But it wasn't blind robbed. It's not like I'm worried about money at the moment. But talking to someone here, I probably spent maybe £10 more than I should have. But he did accept GB pounds, so that was a plus side. On the other hand, it was a lot of money. Well, it wasn't, given the taxi journey I had, it wasn't that money in UK terms, so it's not like I'm thinking, oh my god, this is horrific, but obviously it was way more than it should have been locally. Whatever, such is life. It's my own fault for not being prepared and taking the time to figure out which the people to actually go with and who to avoid. There you go. I got here, I'm safe, I've got all my possessions, I've got my room, I've got my bed. It's just come up to 11 o'clock in the morning, so they give me an early check-in, which is great. I haven't really slept at all. Obviously the journey I was doing, really, really difficult to sleep. Probably got my best sleep was about half an hour on the flight from Tashkent to here, which is only a 40-minute flight in total. So I'm going to be a bit tired. I'm going to pop out and maybe try and find somewhere to get a very strong coffee. There was a little Turkish restaurant just around the corner, so I might try that. They'll probably do some hardcore caffeine. But yep, so I'm going to get showered, get changed, slap on a load of Factor 50 because it is burning outside. And then I'm going to start seeing what's around. So that is my stay at the City Hostel, all done and dusted. It's actually a pretty nice hostel. The rooms are clean, the ensuite bathroom is very clean. The bed isn't amazingly comfortable, the mattress is quite thin and you could feel the wood underneath. but I still got a good night's sleep. Nicely located, just a case of getting taxis around, which are very cheap. So on the whole, if you do come here, this hostel is actually a pretty good one. Apparently there is actually a breakfast provided, but I never had that, so I can't tell you what it's like. But yeah, this is a good hostel and definitely worth coming to.